Well, good afternoon, guys. Welcome back to Poorboys Little Homestead. As always, if this is your first time here, thanks for dropping in. Feel free to drop in anytime you feel, my friend. Guys, it's raining outside. I'm in the house, barefooted. I ain't gonna say barefoot and pregnant though, no. But I'm finna cook up some wild game. We got some deer, venison, some of you may prefer as, and we got some squirrel. I got it cut up, salt and peppered here in this bowl. We're gonna be using 1 can of rotel, probably not quite the whole can. We got 1 can of tomato sauce, probably ain't gonna use the whole can of that neither. About 2 tablespoons of flour. And I just went out in the garden in between the rains and I got some onions I pulled up, some Savannah sweet peppers and some Fuji jalapeno peppers and some confetti bell peppers and some heatless habanero peppers all cut up here. Now we ain't gonna be using all this neither. That came out a lot more than I needed. But what I don't use I put in a Ziploc bag and freeze it. And no, I won't. I'm gonna throw it away because I got plenty in the garden. But first up, I'm gonna show y'all. I don't know what you want to call this. This is just another way to cook some squirrel and deer meat. So let me get y'all over here and show y'all. First up, we got us it's really a skillet, but it's a Dutch oven style. It's deep, and I can use a lid on it. And I put about a half a cup of oil in there, and I've had my oil heating. First, I'm gonna start out with this squirrel since it's thicker. And we just gonna throw it in that grease and let it brown there on both sides. But we're gonna let that brown there for a moment on both sides, and we're just gonna take the meat out and throw it over here in this old pan. And I'm gonna do the deer meat same way, but it's boneless. It won't take it just a second to brown. We're gonna throw it back in this pan. Then we're gonna put our chopped up onions and peppers and all in this grease that's left, and we're gonna saute it around, and then we're gonna put that flour on there. Then I'll show you what we're gonna do after that. So let's let this here brown just a little bit. Now guys, what you looking at here, all this stuff here was fresh out the garden. Squirrels fresh out the tree. This is it deer season yet? No, this ain't fresh out. This ain't fresh out. Y'all ain't gonna trick me into that. This is out of deep freeze from last year. I know some of you out there trying to catch me. That's all right. No, the deer meat's still from last year, guys, and the squirrels is from last year, even though squirrel season's open. Actually, both seasons open right now too. But I haven't been squirrel hunting or bow hunting this year. It's been too hot. It ain't got cool enough yet. Back in the day, it wouldn't have mattered to me how hot it was, how many mosquitoes. I'd have been setting up that tree anyway. But let's get back to our cooking. We ain't supposed to be having a hunting show here. We're supposed to be having a cooking show right now. You ain't trying to fry this meat through and through. You just want to give it a little brown on the outside. And we ain't trying to make a gravy out of this, so we didn't want to flour the meat. Like I said, this is just another way you can do your squirrels and venison. Quick and easy. That's good enough, and you see we ain't putting no paper towel in the pan. So this meat's gonna be going right back in this. Now the deer meat ain't gonna take just a second. You don't want to get it fried through and through, so we ain't gonna be doing both sides. I'm gonna just kind of throw it in there and dip it back out. You try to brown both sides, then you're gonna have your deer meat cooked all the way through. And that ain't what we're trying to do here. You can flip it around real quick if you want to get a little brown on both sides. This meat's gonna cook while it's simmering in this cast iron pot for about an hour and a half. Is where it's gonna do its cooking and get tender. Now if I was doing squirrel and gravy or deer meat and gravy, I would have floured this meat and then browned it real good. But I ain't, like I said, we ain't making gravy. And that's what makes this here easier and quicker. Alright, that ought to be good enough. Now we're going to turn our heat down a little bit. And we're going to throw us some of these onions and peppers all in there. And that looks like about plenty. And we're going to let them saute around in that grease just a minute. Maybe longer than a minute. I don't know. I just kind of go by the look. I think I turned my heat down just a little bit too much. Need to turn it back up there just a little bit. Kind of stir it around in that grease. Alright, now they done got tender enough. We finna add this flour. Like I said, that's about a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons maybe. We just gonna keep browning that. Keep letting that cook down. Now at this point I am going to add me just a little bit more black pepper, guys. Oop. I didn't get it scattered enough, but I got enough in there, didn't I? I don't want nothing to stick on the bottom. That's why I'm steady moving it around. So guys, you ain't going to be eating these peppers and stuff. You're actually just going to be eating the meat out of this and maybe putting some of the juice. If you got potatoes or rice, you could eat it over. I think them sauteed up enough. Now we're going to throw our squirrel right back in that pot. Turn our heat down. And I may have should have got a bigger pot, because this pot's gonna be full. My hands is clean, that's why I'm just grabbing this with my hands. Now guys, at this point we're gonna pour about, I'm only gonna use about a half a can of this rotel. And we're going to use, to start out with, about a half a can of this tomato sauce. And then we're going to pour us some hot water in there with it until it covers that meat. And we're going to turn our fire back up until we get to a simmer. Then we're going to turn our fire back down. All I'm doing here is trying to get my tomato sauce and my water and everything looking like one color. But as it's simmering, it's going to mix and cook all them flavors together in that meat. You want to make sure that squirrel's totally under that juice though. The deer meat won't really matter, but the squirrel needs to be under there because it needs to show enough get tender. Now guys, I'm doing deer meat and squirrel at the same time here, but normally if you do this, you're only doing just squirrel or either just deer meat. And that's about it, guys. Only other thing I'm gonna do, I like this Tony's Creole. We're gonna give it just a little bit of sprinkle, not much. And that's where my salt comes in, because Tony's has got a lot of salt flavor in it. We're gonna put a lid on that right there, guys. You put a lid on there and you watch your heat, and when it gets to a simmer, you want to turn your fire all the way down just to keep it at a slow simmer for about an hour and a half. If you're doing just squirrel, sometimes you might go a little longer than that. But you want to cook it till your squirrel gets tender, but doing squirrel and deer meat together like this, it's going to be a fine line in there where the deer meat will start falling apart before the squirrel gets real tender. But we're going to watch it, and we're going to let it sit there and simmer. And while it's simmering, I'm going to get the kitchen cleaned up, and we'll get back with y'all. Alright guys, I caught another little break in the rain, and I run back out to the garden. And I got some mustard greens here, and I've already de-stemmed them and washed them. I'm going to put them in this pot right here. I'm going to put a few in there, and then I'm going to just kind of sprinkle some avocado oil on them, just a little bit. Toss them around. Now, this is a lot for this pot, but guys, when greens cook down, they cook down. So I just kind of sprinkle a little bit of oil on them as I go down. Actually, that's enough oil for the rest of them. And I'll sprinkle just a little bit of pepper around on it. And I might add a little more as they cook down. But I got some good hot water right here. And we're going to make this boiler here about half full of this water, because when them greens cook down, that'll be plenty of water. We're going to put a lid on them. And we're going to turn that up there to about medium heat to start out with until I see them coming up to steam and getting a little simmering boil going on. And then we'll sit there and simmer down. But let me give y'all a sneak peek at the squirrel and venison over here. And guys, look at that. Wish y'all could get y'all a good nose full of that smell. That right there make you get up and put your camo clothes on. Go back to the woods. So guys, I ain't decided what I'm gonna do with my mustard greens and my meat. I don't know if I'm gonna do some potatoes to eat the juice over, but we're gonna let her cook and I'll get back with y'all again. All right guys, it's been about an hour and a half. We got our squirrel and deer meat sauce piquante. I think that's what the real Southerners in Louisiana call that, to tell you the truth, is a sauce piquante. We're gonna set this top right over here out of the way. I'm gonna dip out a little rice. I made a little rice to eat it over. Put me some of these fresh mustard greens on my plate. Now guys, some people might say mustard greens don't go with this. Well, I got news for you. Mustard greens and turnip greens go with anything in the South. Get y'all over here and show y'all a little close-up of the finished sauce piquante. The squirrel sauce piquante. I'm gonna get me a piece of this squirrel and lay it right here to the side. But I need me another little deal here to give me some of this good juice, put right over this rice. And like I said, now this ain't no gravy, so it's kind of better if you would have eat it in the bowl. And guys, I wish y'all was here. That's pretty good eating. And it's kind of hard eating here on camera, but you see that just tore right off that squirrel. See that? I just pulled that squirrel leg and it came right off there. You a little bite of these fresh mustard greens. Y'all want to take a bite and see what it tastes like, guys? Old southern redneck here, he can cook a little bit. Tell you what. Should have made me some homemade biscuits to go with that. But guys, that's just another way you can cook you some squirrel or some rabbit. I know right now with all the homesteading going on, people's raising rabbits. That's an awesome way to cook your rabbit. It's just the way you see that, eat it over rice. Like I said, you don't need the greens or no other side, just you got your meat, your juice over rice, and maybe some biscuits or bread or whatever you like, or green beans. You can have other sides with it, I'm just saying. But that is very good over rabbits also. One of these days I'm gonna do a rabbit video, probably cooking as the same exact meal. But I hope this video was enjoyable to you. I hope it's something you may try. If you do, please leave in the comments after you try it. Come back and leave it in the comments. Let me know what you thought about it. But thanks for watching. Hope y'all have a blessed day. See y'all next time.